1994, Sweden became the first country in the world to cross the 40% barrier. In the UK, by contrast, the significant shifts in the gender composition of parliament came a couple of decades later, and primarily through the adoption of various forms of affirmative action.
That's right, Ms. Kaur. The Liberal Democrats were the first to implement special measures to raise the proportion of women selected as candidates, introducing in the 1980s the compulsory shortlisting of women in all candidate selection processes. This initiative was later followed by the Labour Party, but neither initiative had much impact on the numbers. The more dramatic step came in 1993, when Labour women activists persuaded the party conference to endorse a policy of all women shortlists in half of the winnable seats for which there was no incumbent MP seeking re-election.
Yes. While all women shortlists were abandoned after two male party members won an industrial tribunal ruling that they were in contravention of the Sex Discrimination Act, a sufficient numbers of women had already been selected by this process to make a significant difference in the 1997 general election. The proportion of women MPs almost doubled from 9.2% to 18.2%.
Nearly a century after women won the right to vote and stand for parliament, the position of women in British politics remains highly unsatisfactory. Despite recent improvements, women are very much a minority in all the country's elected bodies. Informal rules and hidden assumptions continue to block sustained transformation of politics and policies. Women active in politics are still overgendered, while the policies adopted by parties and governments are undergendered, pursued without serious attention to their impact on gender equality.
Canada's history has been shaped by countless determined women who work to promote the uphold gender equality in Canada. Women campaigned a number of important human rights that have become more core Canadian values: the right to vote in provincial and federal elections, the right to own property, the right to earn a fair wage, and finally, the right to be recognized as persons under the law. Women are now protected from discrimination on the grounds of gender, age, maternal status, and more by the Canadian Human Rights Act and the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
Well, we loved having you both on our show, Miss Mari Jaswal and Chanpi Gurwal. We look forward to talking to you again. Thank you for listening to the MNN show. Next week, we will be talking to some special guests about LGBTQ. Be sure to listen.